Hi, I'm Steve Axman, and today's topic is concepts for effective offense. Number one, we need to play offensive football that is truly offensive. Think of a person with an offensive personality. He's aggressive, he goes after things. That's the type of attitude we have to have when we are leading an offense. We need to attack, we need to go after the weakness of a defense. Far too often, I think people focus on what they can't do rather than what they can do. Sure, a defense is going to be strong in certain ways. It's going to take away parts of your offense, but to constantly focus on we can't do this, we can't do that is the wrong attitude. We need to have that aggressive attitude, finding a ways to attack a defense, finding their weaknesses, finding a way to ensure to be able to use the best parts of your own offense. Number two, we need to force a defense to play on its heels. We can't let a defense zero in on us. Defenses are very rhythmic. They want to be able to have a good feel for what you're doing so that they can settle in and get on their toes and fly to the football and pursue to the football. We want to make a defense think. Defenses don't like to think. Again, they want to just get after it and fly to the ball. We want to make them think. We don't want linebackers that are up on their toes and zeroing in on their reads. Instead, we want them saying, check, check, check. Motion, 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 move, get over. We want them thinking. We don't want them up on their toes. We want to give them problems. We want to make the defense frown. Number three, don't use right and left formation. Now that's totally an over-exaggeration, but it does make a point. If you were to take your own defense's playbook and open it up, I think you'll find that the entire defense is based on defending a right and left formation with pro personnel. Again, here's a diagram of what I'm talking about. Pro personnel, we have two wide receivers in the game, two backs, quarterback, tight end. Here's a right formation. That is the formation that almost all defenses will start in their defensive design. I'm a firm believer in using a multitude of offensive fronts and to not use pro right and left formation, or to use it sparingly for certain reasons, because again, I want to get the defense out of sync. I want the defense to frown. I want the defense to be reacting to a multitude of offensive fronts and motions and shift variations, so that again, they're not playing their base defense against the base offensive front that they designed their defense on. Apply your base run pass offense with a multiplicity of formations, personnel plans, shifts, and motions. Basically, I think you need to have a small package of runs and a small package of passes that your offense can learn well, that they can learn to execute well, and then apply those runs and passes with a variety of multiplicity. Run the same off-tackle run play from 2 or 3 different formations, with motions, with shifts, constantly disguising what you're doing, constantly forcing the defense to adjust to you as an offense, but in the same token, you're running the same run plays and the same pass patterns over and over and over, so that you can really get a chance to develop those plays and to be able to execute them well. In addition, using multiple formations and motions and shifts enables you to make adjustments that can truly stress the defense and put the defense in a weakened situation. Also, it can best help you to use your talent, to perhaps isolate your best wide receiver versus a weak cornerback, or to be able to motion a back out and be able to get a passing isolation of a tailback who is very nifty against a linebacker who is very sluggish. When we speak about multiple formations, we're talking about formations such as pro right and left formation with strong backfield set, split backfield set, weak backfield set. We're talking about twins formation. We're talking about a flex tight end or bringing a third wide receiver in to be a slot back. We're talking about balanced one-back formations. We're talking about trips formations, whether it's 3-by-1 to a flanker or 3-by-1 to a split end. We're talking about wing sets, no backs. We can go on and on and on. There's tremendous amount of multiplicity that can be applied with your formations. We feel very strongly that this forces the defense to react and adjust to the offense, not vice versa. The defense is seeing a multitude of formational problems and has to make sure that every front, every coverage, every stunt, every blitz can adjust properly to the varied formations and motions and shifts that an offense can place upon the defense. This is an exaggeration, but I like to mix the formations and the almost every play, to come out every play with a different formation so that, again, the defense is constantly thinking. Still, there must be a reason for whatever formation you use. You just don't use multiple formations and different formations every play for no reason. You must have a reason. You're basically, through your game plan, are setting up formational use to heighten whatever run or pass play you are using. When we speak about multiple personnel plans, we're talking about plans such as pro plan, where we're looking at 2 backs, tight end, 2 wide receivers, a 2 tight personnel plan with 2 backs, 2 tights, and a flanker. We're looking at 2 tights with 1 back and 2 wide receivers. We're looking at 3 wide receiver plans with 2 backs. We're looking at 4 wide receiver plans with 1 back, 5 receiver plans, no back concepts. Again, what we're trying to do is force the defense to react to the offense. The defense must adjust to all of these personnel plan. They must make sure that all of their fronts, their coverage, their stunts and blitzes are all adjusted to the personnel that's going in. Today, everything is matchup defense. The offense brings an extra receiver. The defense is going to bring an extra DB. If it's 5 wide receivers, we're seeing dime defenses. By mixing every down, or trying to mix most every down, we're constantly putting the pressure on the defense to think, to react to the offense, rather than have the offense having to react to the defense. Still, just like formationing, we want to make sure that when we're putting a personnel plan in, we're doing it for a sound reason. It's part of our game plan. We know what to expect. We are using the personnel plan for a certain reason to heighten our run game and our pass game. Another concept that we like to look at is to use irregular formations from specific personnel plans. For example, we could have pro personnel, and yet we could use a spread formation, shotgun, no backs formation. Here we see that we have our normal pro personnel in the game. We have our X and Z wide receivers. We have our Y tight end, and we have 2 backs in the formation. However, when you look at the formation, you see it is highly irregular. You see our 2 backs are split out wide as wide receivers. It's no back set, quarterbacks and shotgun. This is the type of irregular formation that the defense certainly does not expect from a pro personnel plan, making it that much more effective. Another example here is to see pro personnel in a twin set. So we have our Z over to the X side in the slot, but we have taken our Y tight end and split him out. This is a highly irregular formation for a defense to have to defend. They're not expecting to see a spread set of 3 wide receiver look with a tight end backside and the X and Z to the opposite side. Next, we want to use shifts and motions to add to our multiplicity. This helps to change a defense. It can give a very radical formational and strength change to the offense, which can create a big problem for the defense. This is a major concern for the defense. We can really help to create mismatches, and I'll be speaking about this a little later. Here in our diagram, we show a shifting of a pro-left formation to a pro-right formation. We have shifted up the Z, shifted off the Y tight end, brought him over to the opposite side, and move our X back. This shift totally changes the formation strength and can be very confusing to a defense that aligns to formation strength. Now what do? Do they just slide and adjust? Do they try to totally shift all their personnel to the opposite side? This type of shifting really adds a tremendous multiplicity to the offense, and again is making the defense frown, is making the defense figure out what they have to do to adjust to the offense. One of the things we like to do is to add motion to our package and motion across the formation to help force the defense to declare whether it is in man or zone coverage. Good example here, we see the slot and he motions across the formation. If we see a defensive back running across the formation with him, then the chances are we know that it is man coverage, some form of man coverage. If instead we see a bumping across of defenders in adjusting to the across the formation motioning by the wide receiver, then the chances are we know that it is zone coverage. These are very helpful aspects for the receivers, for the quarterback, for the backs, as they see that it is man or zone coverage. Here's cross the formation motion action by the tight end to help show man or zone coverage. The safety following the tight end's motion shows man coverage.